This is my future predictions assignment. This is Andrea Wicks-Cherry. We could look towards the future and see a technological world that has embraced ecology, our environment, the sustainability of the human race, watching reversal in climate change in ways we can't even comprehend. A utopia of sorts. With the use of artificial intelligence, we are certainly projecting AI, possibly changing our world and our ability to manipulate our world on a molecular level. This is a pretty serious path we're headed down, and I agree with D.B. Dillard Wright when he said, I find it to be convincing that human intelligence will be met and exceeded by synthetic minds in the near future. And similar to Dillard, I question the ability of our human consciousness to meet our moral and ethical obligations. It is the responsibility of the creators of this technology to consider whether this endeavor meets the consequential arguments for ethics. Society will be too torn, I think, on opposite arguments for and against deontological ethical argument, and it's already happening. As is already happening. AI will move forward without too much regard for this argument. There are too many variables to determine this just by its own merit. Therefore, in using consequential arguments, I believe D.B. Dillard Wright was correct in stating his concern for the ability of current researchers, creators of AI, to truly ensure the product will not harm humanity on the whole. I also think that, like computers, iPhones, tablets, iPads, this type of AI technology will come in rapid bits and pieces that happen without people batting an eye. Kind of like a secondary life to what we're living now. And if we look at our children and consider the harm that these devices may have been having on their abilities to socialize or to think critically, it can damage the masses, but before we even recognize it or conceptualize the possibility of harm. AI should not only be held accountable to human ethical models and rights. However, there should be, I think, a higher standard that must be applied, and we must ensure that as a species we're expecting more from our artificial intelligence than we as humans can expect from each other. D.B. Dillard Wright also mentions in his article on climate change, inequality, and singularity that he would, quote, make sure that AI understand the evolutionary biology and preserve ecosystems, putting humanity into as many symbiotic relationships as possible. I want them to achieve not complete economic equality, but certainly reduced inequality, taming of sorts of the excesses of capitalism, unquote. So here I tend to agree, however, as we're currently experiencing the political climate, this political climate, there has been a reclaiming of power by Caucasian men and women who feel the need to continue to create an expanse of exclusion, promoting, again, an inequality and segregation of us versus them mindset. I'm trying to imagine a world where inequity is obsolete, but I can't, given the current powers that be would have to let go of their stronghold, and I just don't see that happening. So the use of AI, it definitely could be monumental, and we need to look to fictional utopian societies to see their vast possibilities. We only have to go so far in fiction, and it's there. We could use AI and biotechnology to reverse climate change, assist with climate refugees, perform complicated surgeries, develop new organs, life-saving solutions to chronic illness and disease, assist with complex social issues, create increased automation. It creates newer and better jobs. It sounds really rewarding, but the consequences of AI could be the loss of laborious jobs, whereby some feel they're required if they can't sustain a more academic type of career, further interference in elections and other geopolitics, privacy. When AI becomes more intelligent than humans, we need to be careful not to blindly allow it to lead us. And it could be programmed for devastating effects, or learned programs for devastating effects. So I predict that the future will be more dystopian than utopian. I believe that with the technology singularity, which I believe is inevitable, humans will find themselves struggling to hold on to life. I believe we need to, or we will have the ability to communicate with one another like we've never been able to in the past, and we will continue to be connected through information globally, although it may be biased through governments and media, like in the book 1984. I think we'll continue on a path of destruction of the planet, taking more and more from the earth, and without giving back, and which will reverse our society into a place of like the Dark Ages. We'll have the technologies of the future with income disparities of royals and their subjects. We will have eroded our sense of compassion and caring for one another, and our lives will become a matter of survival. We will need to learn. We'll need to learn to look after ourselves only. And I understand that this outlook seems bleak, and in the same breath, I'm hoping for a shift that shows humans can bring forth equity and embrace our cultures and differences, use the technology for betterment of the human race. I want to see that we can use this AI in a way that allows everyone to benefit and doesn't violate the equitable distribution of related benefits. But I'm stuck in the weeds, and I see governments using their powers to wield a further gap and divide in wealth. I see the larger corporations such as Facebook, countries like Russia, governments using technology to quote unquote inflict harm without consent. And in terms of privacy and manipulating election results, which have been causing a public harm of aggregation already to so many people. I want for more. I yearn for more. Perhaps with each generation we'll become more aware of than the last, and I just need to look with a broader perspective that the human race is raising its global consciousness, and there will be a rebirth of civilization's continued path to sustainable, equitable progress. We hope that the companies, the government, the researchers themselves who are developing artificial intelligence will make the right considerations before they hurl themselves into a race similar to the Manhattan Project, where there's no turning back. Thank you.